Great morning, business owners and managers, and welcome to another awesome episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning. I'm your host, Wes Walters, and on every single CX in the Morning, I bless you with customer service tips, customer experience tricks, and I leave you with gems. And by gems, I mean actionable takeaways that you can implement at the speed of now. You will learn the importance of implementing an awesome customer experience and how that affects the bottom line. And that by itself is pretty awesome. That's why this is awesome TV. So at the end of this show, you will be able to take what you've learned and implement it, sharing it with your team and your business and making your team and your business even better. So how was everyone's weekend? How was everyone's weekend? How was everyone's weekend? My weekend was great. My weekend was great. Great morning to you. Yes, Mr. Lester, great morning to you. This is going to be a teachable moment. You want to pull out your notepads. Even you as a photographer, you can benefit from this. All watching can benefit from this. Trust me, this is definitely a teachable moment. And let's turn notifications off here. But yes, this is definitely going to be a teachable moment for a lot, man. But even as bad as this might seem and as bleak, it's still recoverable. I mean, you can still recover from this. All right. Always benefit from your wisdom. Thank you, brother. Let's just jump right into the juggling right now. All right. The late boomers are going to have to watch the replay. All right. So this is, and I took notes because I wanted to have the timeline of how things were done in order. So this came from me. I have an Apple MacBook computer, right? And the keys some of the keys on the keyboard were not working. Ironically, it was the same key, the same row of keys where my password is. So I figured it's over time, just hitting the password consistently multiple times a day. That was the issue. So I took it to not the Apple store. There is I took it to a computer store. Let's just say a computer store that specializes in fixing Apple computers. So I took it to this store, and a little background. So I know who the owner of the store is. I know who owns the store. I don't know him. We're not friends. We're not buddies. Like we don't hang around in the same circle. I just know him because we're both members of a commerce club in Atlanta, and know him from just passing, interacting. Hey, how are you? So yes, I do know of him, but we are not friends. So he's not my friend, but he's not my enemy. So I want to be very clear. I know who the owner of the store is. And once I found out who the owner was, I was like, absolutely, I will. I have 4 Apple computers. I will definitely support your business when I need repairs done for my Apple computers. That's the way it's done. You know, I know you do business. I'm bringing my business to you. All right. Because the Apple is already winning. So I like working with the underdogs. I love the David and the Goliath stories of, the underdog, coming and from the behind with it against all odds and making it happen. Because that's my story. That's what I preach. I can't preach that and do something else. All right. So took the Apple computer to get repaired. I told them what the problem was. Dropped it off. Right. So little history again. I live in the suburbs of Atlanta. I live in a city called Covington, and it is 35 miles from where I live to downtown Atlanta. All right. 35 miles with traffic, where there's always traffic. It's about an hour commute. All right. So 70 miles going in round trip, 70 miles to Atlanta. So needless to say, I only go to Atlanta if I have to. Everything else is online. So I only go to Atlanta when I have to. Good morning, Miss Walters, right? So 70 miles round trip, 2 hours commute. So anyway, dropped the laptop off, and they called back to check on the status of the laptop. They were like, hey, yeah, after we did it, they did the diagnostic. It simply needed a reset. It was a total software. It said there was nothing with the hardware. The keys are good. We just needed to do a reset. So when I went in to pay, he said, hey, it's ready. Come pick it up. I went in. The technician actually came out and be like, hey, Mr. Walters, hey, so what happened is it's a keyboard sequence, and I'm sure he shared it with me, but I don't remember. It's like Option Command PR, and that does a internal software reset for the keys. He said he did that, and it's working. They only charged me $25 for the diagnostic fee. Great. Tested the keys right there. Everything worked. I'm like, I'm happy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Everything is good. So got home. Got home 1 day later, the keys stopped working again. I was like, okay, cool. And I did the fact that the keyboard sequence, the Option Command PR, whatever he suggested, I did that. Still didn't work, right? So I called them back and I'm like, hey, the keys are still not working. Can you guys take a look at it? The lady that answered the phone, she was like, okay, cool, no problem. I'm like, when can I bring it back? Because I really don't like to wait. I just don't have the time to wait. When can I bring it back? She said, bring it back tomorrow at 10 a.m. We open at 10. If you bring it back at 10 a.m., you're going to be first, and I'll be sure that it's someone is able to take a look at it early. So bring it back at 10, be first in line. Great. Wham, bam. So that's what I did. Drove 35 miles away from Covington down to Atlanta, got there at 10 o'clock. And guess what? Nobody is there to open the store. I swear I can't make this stuff up, man. So nobody's there at 10 o'clock. So, at first I'm like, hey, maybe they're in the back and they're about to open up in a second. So I knocked on the door. It's 32 degrees now. I'm freezing, right? So nobody's in there at 10:15, just the way my life works. I'm not getting paid to stand outside a store. So I can't wait. I just cannot. So 10:15, I left. I'm like, all right, I'm out. I have to do this another day, right? Called back when I got home. I'm like, hey, man, are you guys opening today? Or like, what's going on? You told me to come at 10. Or yeah, there was we either she said she did or they had a family emergency, so we were late. All right, so that's why we were a little late. I said, all right, because I was there. And, I was there at 10. I left at 10:15, 10:20. When I got to my car and passed by at 10:20, you guys were still not open. She said, yeah, there was a family emergency. All right, cool. I said, when can I bring the laptop back? I brought it back. So I dropped the laptop back. They said they're going to do a diagnostic, and they're going to see what's wrong with it and then call me back. This was a Friday, right? She said, hey, Wes, we're going to do a diagnostic. And we're going to call you back at the end of the business day to tell you what's wrong. I say, fair, no problem, right? So Friday ended. Didn't get a call back. Saturday ended. No call back. I called back on Monday. I said, hey, man, you were supposed to give me a call back to tell me what was wrong with the laptop. Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. Yeah, she did take ownership for that. She said, my bad. I didn't call you back. But it's the top case. So with the laptops, right? The laptops, like there's a bottom case and there's a top case. The top case is where the keys are connected. So the top case was bad. And they said, well, it's going to take $200 to fix the laptop. I said, no problem. Let's fix it, right? I said, go ahead and fix it. So went back now, picked the laptop up. I said, hey, I just want to test it before I go. I'm not driving another 70 miles. I said, can I test the laptop before I go? So for some reason, the laptop was not coming on. She said, it's fixed. Trust me, it's fixed. I'm like, I believe you. Can I just power it up? And she's like, the only reason it's dead is because it was on the shelf all day in standby mode. Like, all right, cool. Just let me power it up. Powered it up in the lobby. Everything was fine. It worked. Turned it off, turned it back on. Everything was good. I'm like, all right, cool. Thank you so much. Here's your $200. I'm going, right? So I want to be sure I'm getting everything right. I picked it up. Wanted to test it. Boom, I got it. All right, boom. So I went home now. I got home, plugged the, because I was, that was in the morning. So I got home. The laptop was in my car all day. So I got home, plugged it up in the evening. I said, well, it's not coming on. Let me give it a couple of minutes. Took a shower, got out, still wasn't coming on. So I gave it a couple of minutes, couple hours. Then I went to sleep. Woke up the following day. Laptop was still not on. So now I'm pissed. Rightfully so. I mean, is it okay at this point to be pissed? Because I want to be sure that I'm not over exaggerating. Would you be? So the question is, would you be pissed at this junction? If you were driving 70 miles round trip to get your laptop fixed, and when you got it, it's still not fixed. Am I justified for being pissed yet? If not, then hey, I digress. Let's keep it moving, right? So I called the following morning after I calmed down. I'm like, look, the laptop is not coming on. It's been plugged in. She's like, well, did you give it a couple of moments? I said, yes, it's been plugged in since last night. The first thing she says, absolute first thing she says is that might be your battery. I was like, might be my battery. Okay. I said, well, all right, whatever it is, this is not working. I said, ma'am, I live in Covington. And I keep driving back and forth to Atlanta, 35 miles, going 35 miles, coming 70 miles just to get my laptop fixed. An hour going, 2 hours of my day is being ripped away just to get this laptop fixed. When I bring it in this time, can it really be can I really get it fixed? She's like, yeah, it's going to get fixed. Just bring it in. All right, no problem, right? So let's get the notes correct. So got it in. They said they were going to do a diagnostic and they were going to fix it, right? So they called me and said, hey, it was what it was. It wasn't the battery. No, she said it was the battery. That's why the laptop, the LCD was not coming on. Because I want to be clear, the laptop was coming on. I could see the power. The laptop was on, but the screen was not coming on. Apparently, with this model MacBook Pro, that if the battery is totally dead, the LCD will not come on. I didn't know that. Something I learned, right? So got back now, third trip, got the laptop. The technician comes out and he explained to me, he said, yeah, it was the battery. It was the battery. And I said, well, I'm kind of flabbergasted. How could this be the battery when I got the battery replaced at this store less than a year ago? I said, can't be the battery. I just got a new battery put in less than a year ago. I said, why don't you walk over to the POS and pull up my transaction history? You will be able to see what month I installed this battery. It was definitely before COVID hit. So it was under a year. So he was like, ironically, couldn't pull up my transaction history because they had just moved over to a new system. So he couldn't do this transition history. And he said, well, don't worry. We put a new battery in for free. It's for free. We're not going to charge you for that. And I was like, well, man, I feel so special since you're doing it for free for me, right? So he went on to explain to me that with the top case, the battery is connected to the top case. So sometimes when they replace the top case, in my case, the technician who worked on my laptop didn't change out the old battery. he just kept the used battery that was on there. So I'm like, used battery? Like, I kept it to myself because I'm just taking mental notes now. I'm like, so I paid to get my battery, a new battery. To my surprise, there was this, and all the techies that are watching, let me know if this is the way it's done. So if you get in, I know for sure, if you get in a car accident, like so my mother's car got a fender bender, right? You take it to a body shop, and 9 out of 10 times, which is common, it's pretty common knowledge that they use used parts from cars that were damaged, and when they repaint the car, you can't tell. So that's common knowledge. I'm assuming that's common knowledge to everyone, unless you insist that I want new parts, which is ridiculous. It's common knowledge that if you got a 97 Honda Accord, they will go and find to a junkyard and get a used 97 Honda Accord that the bumper was not damaged, and put that on your car, repaint it, and it's good. That's common knowledge. But I didn't know that existed in the technology field, where if you bought a battery, you might get a used battery, and they not tell you. So if I was not, I didn't know that was the way it was done. To my surprise, apparently this company uses used batteries. She said, so the guy said, let's call him Alvin, or technician, right? Alvin said that the technician that worked on your laptop, he gave you, when we did the replacement top case for the laptop, where the battery's connected, he didn't change out the battery. So that was a used battery with the used top case. I said, well, I said, is it working now? Everything is good. He said, yeah, everything should be good. No problem. To my surprise, I was learning a lot, and I got a lot of notes because I want you guys to, this is a learning and a teachable moment for all business owners of service-based businesses. So I got home, powered up the laptop, used it over the weekend. Everything was good until at night. I utilized the laptop at night, and hey, good morning, Unique. Turned the laptop on at night. And if you have a Mac computer, so the Mac computer has lights behind the keys. So if you're ever using the computer in a dark environment, you can see the keys because there's lights coming from behind the keys. So that's not working. So obviously this was a used top case where everything else was working except the backlight for the keys. So I'm pissed again because now I have to drop the laptop off again. So that's 4 trips. Let's do the math here. Let's do the math, right? It's 4 trips. So now I got to literally stop what I was doing. Let's see, 35 miles going and going. So that's 70 times 4. So I have to donate 280 miles of my gas money to get my laptop hopefully corrected this time, right? And it's an hour going. So 8 hours of my time, poof, pixie dust, gone. I've donated 8 hours of my time and 280 miles of gas, wear and tear in my car, gas, you fill in the blank, just to get this laptop. And they're like, we're doing you a favor. We'll fix it for free. So let's unpack this because it's a teachable moment for all involved. It's a very teachable moment. All right. Let's unpack this because I took some note. So when I called, let's start first with the coming back at 10 o'clock and no one was there. If you have a small business, well, let me say this. If you want to compete with the big boys, you're going to have to do what the big boys do. That's the gem of the day. That's the CX God. The gem is that you're going to have, if you want to compete with the big boys, there's a cost to be the boss. You can't say you want to give the big boys a run for their money and the basics like opening at 10 o'clock when you're supposed to be open at 10 o'clock. You don't do it. Now, I want to be very clear. So this is a teachable moment. This is not, I only list the name of companies when a company does good. When I'm impressed with the company, I blast their names. I'm like, go to XYZ company on MLK Drive. They're the best. Whenever it's a good situation, whenever it's a negative experience, I don't list the name of the company, because the purpose of these shows are not to belittle or bash companies. It's so that we can learn and improve. So I will not list the name of the company. So someone says, what's the name of the company? I will not do that, right? But if you're going to be competing with the big boys, the basics, you got to master the basics, like opening at 10 o'clock if you say that you're opening at 10 o'clock. Have you ever went to the mall and pull up to the mall is open, but you go to the Apple store and they're like, well, we're running late. We had a family emergency, so we're not open yet. Never has that happened. And it will never happen. So if you have a business and you have someone that's responsible for opening that day, you need to have a backup, someone on call that, hey, John is running late. He's not going to make 10 o'clock. Can you go in? As a business owner manager, you should have these things in place. Yes, this is who is opening today, but you're on call. Someone needs to be on call in case there's a family emergency. You can imagine flying out, going to Hawaii tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and the pilot doesn't show up because he had a family emergency. It's unheard of. It never happens. It never happens, because that 10 o'clock flight, that pilot is there at 6. His call time is probably 6 or 7. So if he's not there 6 or 7, they are planning on his replacement before 10 o'clock when that flight leaves. Flight leaves at 10. Pilot doesn't show up at 10. His call time is 6:30. Let's continue. Let's continue. So she says that if I brought it in at 10 o'clock, she would move me to the top of the list, which I did at 10 o'clock and she wasn't there. She said, if I bring it in at 10 o'clock, I'm going to make sure that you get to the top of the list, and we're going to take care of it first. Another teachable moment. So if you have a product, or if you have a service that you're doing and it's not done correctly on your side, it's automatic. Not it's automatic. It should be pushed. That should be the priority. Before you fix or repair the others that are in line, you should work on the ones that are not completed. If you run a restaurant, and you deliver food to table 1, and table 1 says, whoa, I would love some steak sauce with the steak. Before you go ahead and take the order for table 2, get the steak sauce to table 1. Rectify, make sure that the first order is completed before moving on to the second order. So she felt that she was giving me a favor, doing me a favor, like, well, I will make sure that you're seen. No, that's a given. Because you didn't fix it you didn't correct it in the first place. So that's not, that's not a concession, like, oh my God, something honorable. No. You didn't fix the problem the first time. So yes, I should be a priority. Moving along. Keeping your word. When I dropped it off on Friday, she said, hey, we're going to do a second diagnostic, and we are going to call you back to let you know what the problem was. That was Friday. They were open on Saturday. I had to call them on Monday. She didn't. So I want to be clear. On Monday, she didn't call. I called. I'm like, hey, you said you were going to call me back on Friday. What's the deal? Is it because the laptop, what's the problem? Oh, we forgot. Not keeping your word. Another teachable moment. Again, you need to have systems in place so that these things are not left up to, I hope I remember. Not if you want to compete with the big boys. Another teachable moment. Let's continue. So again, when I called back and I said, hey, the LCD is not coming on, the first thing she said was, you might need a new battery. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So it's either they knew it needed another battery and chose not to disclose that to me, or it was just luck that she's a great internal, great psychic, and she could just predict that I was going to need a new battery. But my thing is, like let's take, for example, if you take your car in to get an oil change, the person that's changing the oil, they said, hey, I know you're here to get your oil changed, but you might want to check these tires. You might, they try to sell you on more things so that they can get more money from you. And some of them are legitimate, and some of them are like, look, man, there is nothing wrong with these tires. I can stick my finger through the grooves. There's nothing wrong with these tires. I know you might sell women on that, but I know better. These tires have 100,000 miles left. But they try. So my thing is, let's just say they open the laptop and they realize this battery is going bad. Why not try to upsell me and say, hey, here's an opportunity for us to make more money and for you to get a new battery. Why not do that? So I couldn't understand why, if her first response was, you might need a new battery, how she was able to predict that and had the laptop and not even suggest that, Mr. Walters, you might want to look at your battery. So if you allow the customer to guess, the gem here is that if you allow the customer to guess, chances are they're going to guess wrong. So I might be guessing wrong, but my feelings, my experience, the customer experience so far is that I feel that she's running game on me. How did you know that I needed a new battery? Says Monica says, unfortunately, this happens too often. Customer service has gone out the window. People want a job until they get one. Yeah, it's Monica. I didn't know what to think. And as a customer, if you don't communicate to me what's going on, if you leave it up to me, I'm going to guess, and chances are I'm going to guess wrong. So I'm willing to say, as a customer, I'm probably guessing wrong. But because you didn't give me anything to work on, I'm assuming that you're running game on me. So my perception of your business right now is, you suspect. Let's keep it moving. When the technician, the third time going back, when the technician said, well, we'll repair the battery for free. You're not doing it for free, sir. Because it has already cost me 280 miles of commuting and 8 hours of my time that I donated to you. You're, as a technician, you're getting paid. I'm not getting paid. So it's not free. So to use that language, you need to remove that from your lexicon. To tell me you're going to do it for free, you're not doing it for free. You're in the red. Can we be honest and speak truth to power here? You're in the red. You're not doing it for free. You're actually in the negative. Here's the gem. If there is an issue with your business and you rectify it, rectifying it only brings it back to zero, ladies and gentlemen. If there was something that you were supposed to do as a business owner and you didn't do it, you're in the negative. Putting the customer back to where it was at the beginning only puts you back to zero. You didn't do anything amazing. You're back to zero. So you have to compensate and over deliver. You need to offer a concession, not put me back to zero. feel that, well, I'm doing it for free. No, you're not. You're in the negative, pal. You're in the negative. Let's keep it moving. Now, also what I forgot to say is that the gentleman that finally, who explained to me that, it was probably a used, it was a used top case and a new bad battery, he totally threw the technician that worked on it under the bus. He was like, yeah, we were having a problem with John and he was not paying attention and, doing stuff like, you're not the first one to complain about that came back with an error from one of the repairs that he did. He should have clearly took that used battery off and put on another used battery. Throwing another employee under the bus. What that shows is that there's dysfunction. The culture that this business owner created is toxic. If you're throwing another employee under the bus, me as a customer, I don't look at you as honorary. I look at this as dysfunction. Because if you're throwing him under the bus and you work with him, what are you going to do to me that you don't know? So the technician thought that he was going to save grace and make the company look better, that, oh yeah, we got rid of that bad person. No. All of his repairs are bad. No, that's not the way the customer looks at it. The customer looks at this. There is internal conflict and chaos, and it makes sense why I got to come back 4 times, because there's chaos in here. That's how the customer sees that. And there should be checks and balances. If you have a technician that's working on a repair, before that repair is given to to the customer, there should be another technician for quality control to confirm that this has been repaired correctly. Simple. When I'm writing books, I might be writing for 4 hours, 6 hours at a time. And I might think that, hey, it's perfect. I proofread it and it looks great. And I might have somebody else read it and I'm missing periods and commas everywhere because I've been working on it for so long. A lot of those errors I don't see anymore. So if you're working on computers all day, there are going to be some things that you're human. That's why that business should have some checks and balances in place. So let's bring it full circle. Here it is. So I got to go back and take my laptop back again. So this is the 4th trip, right? So it's going to be a total of 280 miles, 8 hours of my time lost, gone. I can never, because I'm not even upset about the money. The extra $200 to get the case, not because I can get more money, but I can't get back my 8 hours. That's what I'm upset about. I can get more money. I can't get back more time. And I've donated 8 hours of my time to a company and I got nothing in compensation. Never through this process were they apologetic or express empathy. I told the lady, I'm like, look, I'm driving 70 miles for this transaction. Can you please make sure that it's done correctly? It was like, get over it, man up. That's the energy that I got. No empathy, no compassion. No, we messed up. Here's another gem. When you mess up, own it. Own it. Say, hey, look, you driving down here 3 times? That's bad. Let's fix, own it. Never through the transaction did anybody say we own this. We messed up, Mr. Walters. This is bad. Now, the Apple store is 15 minutes from this store. But I choose to go to this store because, again, not that the guy who owns the store is my best friend. We're not. I know him by association because we're members of the same commerce club. So I know him by association, and I want to give my business to him. I like the underdogs. But if you're going to be an underdog and you want to play with the big boys, you got to do what the big boys do. You have to do what the big boys do. This company has, just error after error of just holes in their system and processes galore. just off the rip, where they can improve is having consistent business hours. Yes, and I say consistent because if you have someone that schedules to open the store and they don't open the store at that time, you're inconsistent. Second is that they should be transparent. Again, this is the teachable moment for all other service-based business owners. Be transparent. Say, hey, if we are going to give you a used battery, let me know. Let me know. For the automotive industry, it is common knowledge that if you get an fender bender, chances are, unless you eloquently says, I want a new fender, I don't know why you're going to do that, because they're going to say like, it's going to cost you a lot more. Why would they do that? But it's common knowledge that if you have a 2020 Lexus and you get an fender bender, they're going to get another 2020 Lexus that was in an accident that got totaled and take the fender off of that car and put it on yours. That's common knowledge. Repaint the car and you will never know. That's common knowledge. I didn't know. Now, if someone who's watching this from the tech industry, if this is common knowledge in the tech industry as well, I'm understood that anytime I go to the Apple store, I get new stuff, unless it's a Apple certified used computer. If I get a battery installed from the Apple store, it's a new Apple battery. If I get a mouse, it's a new mouse. Or if it's not going to be new, I'm positive Apple would tell me, hey, you can get a used hard drive or a new hard drive. A new hard drive costs $500, a used costs $250. I'm positive Apple would tell me. This case, they didn't tell me that I was getting a used battery. So I'm pissed at that. I'm upset. Like, I got a used battery? Like, what? I know you say bad news travel fast, Monica, but again, the purpose is not to belittle. This is just a teaching example, and everyone else watching learns from it. I only list the name of companies when it's when it's positive. When it's negative, I'm not going to list the name of the company. But everyone can learn from it. Bad news does travel. But guess what? Guess what? I'm still going to take the laptop back this fourth time, because hopefully I'm going to share this video with the owner. I'm going to be like, look, please watch this. I never mentioned the name of your company, but there's a lot of takeaways that you can get from this. And please, the fourth time, can I just get the laptop fixed correct? I know what you're asking. Like, why? Wes, why? So, why? So here it is. And here's another gem. You never know who the customer is that you're dealing with. This associate and this technician doesn't know that I teach. They don't know that I teach customer service. They don't know that I teach customer experience. They just see me as Mr. Walters. They don't know that. So you always want to perform at a world-class level, because you never know who you're serving. So you're asking, why? Why? Wes, why are you continuing to go back to this business? Here is why. Because one, I want him to win. I want him to win. There's always 6 millimeter nudges in the right direction that can get him on his way. We all sometimes just need 6 millimeter changes into the right direction and change the total trajectory of his business. Right now, the trajectory is going in the opposite direction. Because if it wasn't me, if this happens to someone else, they're going to put the name of the company and write a bad review. I'm not going to do that. But like you said, Monica, bad news travels fast. So this person is running in the wrong, high speed in the wrong direction. Because of all of these, see, one of these things by themselves, no problem. All of these things compounding after 4 visits, there's a problem. You can't say, well, this was an error. This is not normally how we do business. Come back, let's prove it to you. No, I've been back 3 times and I'm going to go back for the 4th time on Tuesday. 4 trips. So this is not a fluke. This is not this is a one-time error. No, this is consistent with it says to me that your team is inept. You don't have real technicians. You have this is what, again, when you leave the customer to guess, they guess wrong. As a customer, I'm probably guessing wrong. Maybe all of his technicians are certified Apple technicians, maybe. But from my experience, I'm like, this is the worst experience ever. How is this person still in business? So you're like, why, Wes? Why are you still going back? Because I want him to win. I really want him to win. I want the underdogs to win. And another reason is why. So in Roberts Greene, the 48 laws of power, law number 2 is never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use your enemies. Now, of course, enemy is a harsh word here. He's not my enemy. But what Robert Greene continues, if you haven't read this is required reading for all who's watching my show. All right, you have to read this, right? So what Robert Greene continues to say in Law 2 is that someone who has crossed you, someone who has done you wrong, are more loyal than a friend who has not crossed you, because that friend who crossed you, they want to prove to you their loyalty. So oftentimes, like you hear stories of someone did you wrong, and then they come back, and after that, they were solid. Their best employee, like if you caught an employee stealing, normally you're supposed to fire them, and you're like, look, I'm going to give you a warning. Don't steal from me anymore. Oftentimes, employees like that rise through the ranks to become CFOs or become the business owner's left-hand man. 20 years ago, he tried to steal from the business owner. And the business owner gave him a chance to be like, you know what? Don't do that again. From that point, that employee was like, I am going to prove to him that I'm loyal. So he overcompensates and go above and beyond. That's one of the reasons why I'm like, you know what? I think once this business owner sees this, and again, the word enemy was a harsh word, not a good example, but the example was in detail was, I think that now that he has seen that, we have done Wes wrong, and other customers as well, let's make it right. Let's prove to him that we can make it right. Never was there a concession offered, not a discount on my next visit, not nothing. My 280 miles of gas, of miles, wear and tear my car on gas, and 8 hours was just a donation to his company, because I like driving to Atlanta and I like donating my time. That's what that was about. I want him to win, and I want you to win. You that are watching, I want you to win. Take these gems and don't do these things. Sometimes it's not about what to do. Sometimes the show is like, this is what you need to do. No, this show is some of the things not to do. I really want him to win, and I want you to win. So there's a lot of gems, a lot of takeaways in here, but go back and watch the replay if you're just tuning in. And rule number one I have in business is to treat customers with respect. They chose me. They put their trust in me. Yes, it's my job to show them that they chose correctly. Monica, what type of business do you have? And Monica said it correctly. Rule number one, treat the customers with respect. Never was the lady sympathetic or empathetic. Like, man, you drive 70 miles and you choose us when the Apple store is 4 miles away. So you could have drove 74 miles and gave your business to the Apple store, but you chose us. Thank you, Mr. Walters. None of that. Miss Monica owns a bakery. Yes. Oh, your business is personal. Oh, birthday cakes, anniversary cakes, but mitzvah cakes. What? You gotta show appreciation. So never was it like, hey, Wes, you drive 70 miles. Oh my God, I only drive 5 miles. I could never imagine driving 70 miles, an hour to the store, an hour back home. I could never imagine that. My bad. Let's make it right. We are sorry. We are wrong. None of that was never the energy. It was like, nah, let's put the blame on someone who no longer works here. That doesn't, to a normal consumer, they would be like, wow, I'm great. I'm glad they got rid of him. Yeah. To someone like me who teaches customer service and customer experience, I see what's behind that: dysfunction and a toxic work environment. You don't get praises for that, like, oh yeah, John was a bad technician, and you're not the first. A lot of the repairs that he did came back. That goes back to management. Why is John still working there, and why is John still repairing? And I always give them more than they ask for. Man, Monica, let me screenshot Monica so I can follow Monica after. Yeah, Monica, obviously. I'm gonna check you out, Monica, and promote your bakery. Yeah, you have to give more than they're paid for. But anyway, that's it. That's the gems. It's a teachable moment in this episode of things what not to do. And again, I'm gonna share this video with the manager, the owner, and I'm gonna check. So I'm dropping the laptop back off on Tuesday. I'm making another 70-mile commute on Tuesday to drop the laptop off, right? Hopefully, when I get it back with my used top case and my used battery, that the backlights are working, right? But I'm going to keep you guys posted to see how the owner of the business responds to if he's receptive, if he's like, this is a crock of shit and we don't care, we did you nothing wrong. I'm going to let you guys know how he responded. And that will let you know whether because guess what? All of this, he hasn't lost me as a customer. If this was my wife, gone. First try, like, zero tolerance. This was my brother, like, I'm out. But for me, I teach customer service. I have to have a level of empathy. I'm like, you know what? Just let him get it right. Let him get it right. They're going to get it right. So I'm going to go back one more time on Tuesday. Fourth try. Please, can we get it right on the fourth try? I'm going to go back on the fourth try to see if they can get it right. And I'm going to keep you guys posted to see how the owner responds. If he's receptive, he's like, Wes, thank you for these gems. And we're going to share this with the team. And matter of fact, owner, here's a little thing, owner. Owner, if you need help, which you do need help with your customer experience, please go to Work with Wes and contact someone from my team. Here's what I'll do, owner. I will give you a free customer training with your team. Here it is. I'm on video. I'm letting you know. Free, because I want you to win that much. Hey, I'm saying it on video. It's here forever. I'm not going to go back on my word. I will come in with your team on the slowest day with your staff and show some simple nudges that you need to make that will make your business better. Owner, I'm talking to you. Free 99. Please reach out. Go to workwithwes.com and we can definitely help you. All right. So that's it. Monica, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to definitely promote your bakery. And if you're a business owner and manager, this is where you want to be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. for customer experience in the morning, CX in the morning. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you're not a business owner or manager, and you do know a business owner or manager, you want to send them here on Wes Walters and Associates on Facebook, on Wes Walters on YouTube, and Wes Walters on Instagram. All right. So send them here. This is where they need to be. And share this video with anyone or any business owner that you feel they can benefit from it. So I'll keep you guys posted on what the business owner says and if he's receptive to change. All right. See you guys. We got a comment real quick. Boom. What the comment says. That's awesome, Wes. Awesome, Miss Dorsey. I didn't even know you were here. Well, congratulations. How you going to come in and not say good morning? Doc, I got to know you here, Miss Dorsey. Anyway, I'm not sure when you got in, but if you came in late, just go ahead and watch the replay. It's a lot of gems of what not to do. This was a show of not things what to do, but of things what not to do. All right. But guess what? He still has not lost me as a customer yet. He has not. I'm still willing to give, that should let you know the patience of customers. Like when they're with you, they'll rock with you. Just get it right. I still want to give my business to this business owner. All right. So listen, you guys have a great day and a productive week. Peace. See you guys on Wednesday.